Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Mauricio Pochettinho is staying at PSG this season. It's said today that PSG have rejected Manchester United's move to appoint Mauricio Pochettinho. Yesterday, Pochettinho came out and said that he's so happy at PSG and he's not distracted with the links to the Man United job. Now earlier on this week, it said Pochettinho was interested in the Manchester United job. And the Manchester Evening News came out and said that Man United are confident of appointing Mauricio Pochettinho as their next permanent manager. And he said Manchester United agreed to pay the 10 million compensation fee for Pochettinho. And he did say that Pochettinho was ready to quit PSG to become Manchester United manager now. Pochettinho is Manchester United's #1 choice. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that not so long ago. Pochettinho has a full season left on his PSG contract. I think he has won a trophy at PSG. Pochettinho is proven in the Premier League because before he managed Tottenham, he endured a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. Pochettinho, though, nearly won the league when he was Tottenham manager, and he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final back in 2018. I think Tottenham made a big mistake sacking Pochettinho, and of course Pochettinho managed Southampton. He only endured a short tenure with Southampton, but he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the league so far, and before he managed Espanyol. Manchester United should have got Mauricio Pochettinho after the club sacked Mourinho, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. So as things stand, Manchester United are looking to appoint an interim manager until the end of the season, and then obviously get a permanent manager at the end of the season. At the moment, Michael Carrick is Manchester United's interim manager. Now, earlier on today, I gave you the news on Ernesto Valverde. He says Manchester United have held initial talks with Ernesto Valverde over the interim manager role. Valverde is managerless. He hasn't had a job for almost 2 years. His last managerial role was Barcelona. He did get sacked from Barcelona back in January 2020. When he was at Barcelona though, he won back-to-back La Liga titles. He also won the Copa del Rey. Before he's managed Olympiacos, he endured 2 spells at Olympiacos, and he won the Greek title on 3 occasions. He's managed Atletico Bilbao before. I think he also won a trophy with them. So reflecting on that, he's got a decent pedigree behind him as that Valverde. Ralph Rangnick, he's been spoken about. It's said recently that Man United could line up a move for Ralph Rangnick if they can't get Pochettinho this season. Zinedine Zidane, I've disregarded him coming to Manchester United because not so long ago it said that Zinedine Zidane is not interested in taking over at Manchester United as he doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment. Zidane's wanted by PSG, but I don't think Zidane is sure about the PSG job. That's what's stopping Pochettino coming to Man United, basically. Brendan Rodgers, I've disregarded him coming because not so long ago Rodgers dismissed the Man United job. He said, I'm proud to be at Leicester, but Manchester United have contacted Brendan Rodgers. The other week he was house hunting in Cheshire, so that stirred some suggestions up. And at that point it said he was the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Erik ten Hag to Manchester United is a possibility. I think he is our second choice. Obviously Pochettino's the number one choice. I presume there's a lot of United fans that would like to see Erik ten Hag come in. You've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's won a few trophies with them. He develops young players good. And he's been Ajax manager for 4 years. So Manchester United are looking for their 5th manager since Ferguson. Manchester United have already sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Man United finished 7th under the David Moyes era. I think that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Moyes was one of the worst managers we ever had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years or so. We did win the FA Cup under him. We sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he did win 3 trophies in his first season. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the players. The board didn't get the players that Mourinho wanted to recommend in, and obviously Mourinho had bad disputes with the board because of that, basically. And of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked last Sunday morning after almost 3 years in charge. Manchester United recently beat Villarreal 2-0. Obviously the goals came from Cristiano Ronaldo, and we saw Jadon Sancho score his first goal for the club. Reflecting on the win against Villarreal, Manchester United have qualified for the last 16 of the Champions League, with still 1 game to spare in the group. And Michael Carrick, of course, won his first game as the interim manager. There's a very good chance that Michael Carrick will be in charge for the game against Chelsea this Sunday. Michael Carrick got announced as the interim manager last Sunday morning when the club officially sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer obviously got sacked following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. That game against Watford was embarrassing from a Manchester United perspective. And not so long ago, Solskjaer gave his farewell interview, and obviously he got emotional in the farewell interview. I did feel for him, to be honest with you. But I think it was definitely the right decision to sack Solskjaer, because he couldn't take this team any further. I don't think we wanted to sack Solskjaer, but the club were left with no choice. You know, Manchester United paid Solskjaer $7.5 million because last summer he signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Manchester United should have never give him that contract. You know, Ollie was Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. The reason he lasted as long as that, though, is because he's a legend of the club. Disregarding him being a legend of the club, I can assure he would have been sacked a long time ago. He should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, because if we'd have sacked him then, I can assure Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. But despite, Solskjaer getting sacked last Sunday morning, all Manchester United fans still adore him and will always adore him, reflecting on what he's done for the club. You know, Solskjaer was a great player for Man United. He enjoyed 11 years as a player and he flourished under Ferguson's guidance. Ollie did have a proven pedigree when he was a United player, but unfortunately he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. And I said that was a concern. But Solskjaer is a legend of the club and always will be a legend of the club. That's what it did mention on the statement. But reflecting on the poor performances under Ollie, not all of the blame stemmed from Ollie. You know, Ollie was partly to blame, because his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot. But there was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances as well. You know, this season was Ollie's third full season when he was United manager. And I did say at the start of this season that this season was always going to be big for him. And obviously the pressure was on him as well at the start of the season, reflecting on the summer transfer window Manchester United had this year, because Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and Man United spent around £141 million. And when Ollie was United manager, the board backed him very well in this year's summer transfer window. The Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him, John Murtaugh, our director of football, backed him, and Darren Fletcher also backed him. So reflecting on that, Solskjaer had no more excuses. He ran out of excuses a long time ago. But Ollie did not win a trophy when he was United manager, and I said he was never capable of winning trophies as United manager. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. And the expectations were far too high for Ollie to exceed as United manager, and I just think he was in a position that he shouldn't have never really been in. Because Ollie knew when he did get appointed in that it was going to be a massive job. Not only a massive job, a difficult job as well. Despite him knowing the club through thick and thin, because Ollie was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Ollie did get appointed in as the caretaker manager in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. And Ollie obviously did well in his first 3 months as the caretaker manager. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. So reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. There was United fans that said, though, Solskjaer shouldn't have been given the job on a permanent basis. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether he was the right candidate. But there again, it was hard not to give him the job on a permanent basis, reflecting now well he did in his first 3 months as temporary boss. When Solskjaer was United manager, he signed 14 players, didn't he? And Man United spent over 400 million under the Solskjaer era. You know, Ollie also got rid of a lot of players when he was United manager. You know, he loaned players out, he got rid of players permanently. To Solskjaer's credit, he did develop the youth well when he was United manager. Some progress was made under him, you know, because when Ollie was United manager, he did get us to semi-finals. He got us to 3 semi-finals in his first full season. In his second full season, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, and the Europa League final. And that Europa League final was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately, he didn't win it. So there you go. And you know, in his first full season, got us a 3rd place finish, and in his second full season, got us a 2nd place finish. And don't forget, when we had Ollie, Man United went on a 29-game unbeaten run away from home in the league. Under Ollie, Man United were far superior away from home than there was at home, surprisingly enough. But in the last couple of months of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at United, it was obvious that the players didn't want him there because the players were not playing for the manager. And they just lost faith in him in the end. And Manchester United have got some very, very good players. But the reason we weren't getting the best out of them in that really bad period under Ole is because obviously they were a team of individuals. You know, they weren't actually playing as a team. But hopefully under a new manager, you know, the team will galvanise themselves. You know, look at the players we've got. You know, you've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo scored in the 2-0 win against Villarreal. It was a lovely chip over the goalkeeper, but Ronaldo's goal came from a poor clearance by Villarreal's goalkeeper. Obviously, Fred contributed to Ronaldo's goal. Ronaldo should have had another goal as well because he had a very good chance. Was it from a tight angle? Just went wide. He also had a chance in the first half against Villarreal. It was a header saved by the Villarreal goalkeeper. Ronaldo now has 10 goals in all competitions since he re-signed for Man United. Ronaldo's got 2 assists now. Obviously, he got the assist for Van der Beek's goal in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. And he got an assist in the game against Tottenham earlier on in the season. Ronaldo has won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo has got back-to-back awards since he re-signed for the club. Obviously, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month for October. Back in September, he got named Premier League Player of the Month. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives 480 grand a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. And he wears the number 7 shirt, and Man United got Ronaldo for 19.8 million. Add-ons were included. Man United paid like 12.7 or 12.8 million up front. And you've also got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player for Manchester United. Greenwood's not available at the moment because he's out with COVID. Greenwood has scored 4 goals in the league so far this season. He scored a stunning goal in the 4-2 defeat to Leicester earlier on this season. At one point though, Greenwood did go a while without scoring, but despite that, he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. A lot of the time now, Greenwood plays on the right wing. In one game, he played up top alongside Ronaldo. I think, yes, it was the City game. Obviously, the Greenwood-Ronaldo partnership doesn't work out. Jadon Sancho, I think he's a good player. Sancho was very, very good against Villarreal recently. You know, he scored his first goal for the club, and what a goal it was. Hit it from the right of the box and went in off the inside of the crossbar. Sancho should have had another goal because he had a very good chance from close range, produced a good save from the Villarreal goalkeeper. I thought Sancho's movement was good, and every time he had the ball, he looked very threatening, and he got in some very good positions. That's probably, or is, should I say, the best game Sancho's had so far since he signed for Man United. You know, Sancho was very poor when we had Solskjaer. Because when Solskjaer played Sancho, most of the time Solskjaer played him out of position. There again against Watford, Solskjaer put Sancho in the correct position. But there again under Solskjaer, there was quite a few games that Sancho didn't even play in. I said Sancho will do well at Man United, providing that he's used correctly. It does take some players time to settle in. You know, we got Sancho for 78 million, add-ons were included. United paid like 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with the club till June 2026. There's an option of a further year. And you've got Bruno Fernandez. That's also an exceptional player. Fernandez didn't start against Villarreal yesterday. Van der Beek started ahead of him in number 10, but Fernandez came on in the game and made an instant impact. You know, Fernandez got the assist for Jadon Sancho's goal. Fernandez, though, was poor in the 4-1 defeat to Watford, and I thought he was poor in the 2-0 defeat to Man City before the international break. You know, Fernandez has had quite a few games where he's looked off the pace, but there's been quite a lot of games where he's been very consistent. You know, don't forget Fernandez starts the vast majority of Man United's games. He's one of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. You know, Fernandez has been a United player for almost 2 years now. Got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. You know, Fernandez has won awards since he come to the club, reflecting on his good performances. Earlier on this season, Fernandez did make it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. And when he come to Man United, he said, I've come to Manchester to win trophies. He's got a contract with the club till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. And you've got Marcus Rashford. That's also a good player. Rashford didn't start against Villarreal, but he came on and he made an impact. You know, Rashford made some very good runs. He got in behind Villarreal's defence, and he had a good chance in the game from a tight angle. He was unlucky not to score. Rashford's done well in some games since he's come back, but he's also enjoyed some poor games as well. At one point, Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and don't forget, at one point, he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Most of the time now, Rashford plays on the left wing, because that's where he's mostly effective. But you know, Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy and that. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got a contract with the club until 2023. And then you've got Edinson Cavani, another good attacking player Man United have got. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo. Cavani's not available now anyway. He's out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season, was Cavani. He's got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension. I think he's leaving the club next year, unfortunately, Cavani. Man United got Cavani on a free transfer. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. And you've got Donny van der Beek. He's also another good player Man United have got. Like I said earlier, Van der Beek started against Villarreal yesterday. And put a good performance out. I thought he looked good on the ball. His movement was good. And he made some nice touches. Van der Beek didn't start in the 4-1 defeat to Watford, but he did come on and make an instant impact. He scored against Watford. That was only his second goal for the club. When we had Solskjaer, Van der Beek didn't get enough game time, and reflecting on that, he was frustrated. But hopefully under a new manager, Van der Beek will get a lot more opportunities, and if he was to get more opportunities from now on or under a new manager, that could persuade him to stay. But not so long ago, Van der Beek confirmed that he wants to leave in January. Van der Beek's been at the club now for over a year and a half. This season is his second full season at Man United. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million, with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. And then you've got Paul Pogba. That's also another good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Pogba did enjoy a very good start to the Premier League season. He's got 7 assists so far in the league this season. Towards the end of last season, Pogba produced good performances, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while, and he sustained some ankle injuries at Man United. Pogba's obviously not available at the moment. He's out with a thigh injury. He suffered the thigh injury in France training earlier on this season. I think Pogba's going to be missing the rest of 2021. Well, he said earlier on this season that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. And you've got Luke Shaw. That's a good left back overall. But Luke Shaw's certainly not proven how good he can be so far this season. Shaw's been very, very poor this season. I'm shocked in that aspect, because last season Luke Shaw was superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. I'm sure as this season goes on, Luke Shaw will regain his form. At the moment, Shaw has got a head injury, so obviously he did miss the game against Villarreal. I don't know if he's going to be available for the game against Chelsea on Sunday. But despite the injuries Shaw's had at United, I still think he's had a good career at the club. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player, and he's been our first choice left back for a while. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his current contract. And you've got Harry Maguire. That can be a decent centre-half, but hasn't really proven how good he can be as a United player. He's had some good games, but he's had a lot more bad games than good games, and Maguire's been very, very poor this season, and he's been even worse since he came back from that calf injury. As you all know, Maguire got sent off against Watford, so he's got a 3-match ban now, so Maguire can't play against Chelsea this Sunday. We might start to get the best out of Maguire though under a new manager. Maguire seems to play well when he's alongside Varane, but when he's alongside Bayern Lindelof, he's poor. Man United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. And then you've got Eric Bailly, that's a good centre-half as well, but he doesn't get regular game time. He lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and obviously Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. My concern about Bailly is injury prone. Towards the end of last season, he signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Varane, he's a good centre-half as well. He's had some good games at Man United. He's had a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. Varane's already endured 2 injuries though since he became a United player. He's out with a hamstring injury at the moment. He's out with this hamstring injury for another 2 weeks, is it, or 3 weeks? Earlier on in the season, Varane had a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks as well. And you've got Psg, that's very good defensively, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. These aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Psg, I've got to give him credit, he played well against Villarreal yesterday. Kept Danjuma at bay, made some good blocks and interceptions. So hopefully from now on he can continue with them good performances. And you've obviously got David De Gea, that's a very, very good goalkeeper as well. De Gea's done really, really well so far this season. De Gea again was very good against Villarreal yesterday. He made some world-class saves. I think he denied Trigueros on 2 occasions. He made a good save as well to deny Gomez. I think that was in the first half. And he did well in the 4-1 defeat to Watford, did De Gea, even though we lost 4-1. Because he did save 2 penalties and he made some other good saves in the game. So there you go. So Man United have got very, very good players. But like I said to you, there's quite a few players that don't even get in the team. Dean Henderson doesn't get in goal because De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot. Tellez doesn't really get in the team. Tellez only plays when Shaw's not available. Jones and Bailly don't get in the team. Dalot doesn't really get in the team. Dalot will only play when Pasaka's not available. Lingard doesn't get in the team. Martial doesn't get in the team. Van der Beek under Solskjaer didn't really get in the team a lot. Mata, he doesn't get in the team. That Amad Diallo, he's another one that doesn't get in the team. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.